All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night Team Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us live. And thank you for listening to the playback if you're catching the recording. We had an awesome incentive trip that we just got back from last week. It was amazing, much needed, and makes me really excited to start working for the next one. We do have 13 days left in the current incentive to earn level 3, the Scentsy Club subscribers. There's 13 days left, but it's hard coming off of that trip, not already thinking about diving into August 1st and digging my heels in and getting started with earning the next trip. Last week, Robin awesomely led our conference call for Tuesday night. And Robin, did you want to throw out really quickly that challenge that you had given last week, just to reiterate that real quick? You just have to unmute. Hold on. Unmute. There we go.
Yeah. So last week we talked about who already had parties for August, and out of the 15 of us, only Mary Jane had one booked. So the challenge was everybody see what we can do about getting one booked for August from then to now. So did anybody do it?
Cassie did.
Cassie did. Debbie did.
Awesome.
There we go. I did.
Got one.
There we go.
You did, Robin?
Yep.
Excellent. We should do we should take a party tally count like at the beginning of Zoom.
There you go.
Next. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it again. KJ did. Awesome. So thank you. And then you announced also, or you drew a winner last week.
Yes.
And who was the winner from last week's Zoom?
Megan Pardon.
Yay! So Megan, you watch your mail. Your gift will be coming along with Lisa. Yours is still coming.
Yeah. I just brought it to Alaska.
I know, no kidding. Totally should have. So awesome. So thank you again, Robin. And then Lisa, give us our announcements going on for this week.
Okay, so really quickly, first wanted to hit the product status list. Back yesterday, we had fragrance flowers in Coastal Sunset and Magnolia Linen returning. And then on the 21st, we have some more fragrance flowers returning: black raspberry vanilla, hibiscus pineapple, Luna, sea salt and avocado, watermelon tangerine, and vanilla bean buttercream. We'll also have the R2D2 lid returning and the Atlantic Air scent circle. So exciting on that front. We had our Wally and Moana launches today. So hopefully you all got some really good PRV boosts from that. Nothing sold out as far as I have seen. So we can still continue to push those to our customers. Next week, we will have the Island Days wax collection launching. That's going to be on the 25th at normal time. So 9:30, 10:30 PT, convert from there for your time zone. And the Travel Twist, remember, is debuting August 1st and will be replacing the Travel Tin. So keep that in mind. If you haven't already learned about the Travel Twist, check it out in your workstation so you can start answering questions for your customers, especially if you have anybody who ordered travel tins from you. You may want to go ahead and let them know about this new product that they might want to try, since they won't be able to get travel tins anymore. So August 1st, that launches, and travel tins will be going away after the 31st. And there is more information, as I was saying. If you look up the scent FAQ in your workstation, you can get more information on those new travel twists. So the new charitable cause warmer is also launching on August 1st. It is called See the Good. And the cost will be $55, and $10 of each sale of that warmer is going to go to benefit the Scentsy Family Foundation, which supports charitable causes in North America. And later on, towards the end of the catalog season, Scentsy will ask for input from everybody about what we want to support. And then usually, like at SFR last month, they announced the charities that we supported for the last charitable cause warmer. So we'll find out later down the line what we'll be supporting, but it will be going to the Scentsy Family Foundation. So that's good. Remember that there is no warmer of the month next month, just a scent of the month. So make sure if you have any customers who look forward to that, that you're managing expectations on that. And I believe I saw that there was also no brochure since there was no warmer. So also remember that. I'm sure anybody who gets the kit normally has probably gotten their bars by now. I haven't opened mine, but and then until the 31st, remember to hype up the last chance section on your website, because we have items that are 10% and 20% off, which is something that Scentsy has never done before. So discontinuing items at 20% off. This is also another really great way to push Scentsy Club to show people those discontinued items that are in your last chance section. So that is until 7/31. A couple more fall winter product training guides are delayed until August 1st. So they won't be available for purchasing. The product training guides are a great tool. They're like $2. We come out every season with them. So if you were looking to get that, you'll have to wait until the 1st. Along with the fall winter transition business tools kit, it was incorrectly priced on between the 1st and the 6th of August. So if you purchased it in that time and you were affected, you should have received a product credit by now, issued also with tax in there. So anyone who was affected should have gotten a product credit because of that. And the kit is unavailable for the rest of the product season. However, individual tools that are in that kit, transition tools, are still available in the consultant store. So if there's something you really want, you can go in there and purchase it individually. Just we will not be able to have the transition kit for the rest of the catalog season. And then just last couple, Scentsy's emailing our customers about the cotton cleanups that actually happened today. So your customers should have gotten, if they've purchased cotton cleanups from you before, they should have gotten an email from Scentsy about it today, just reminding them about how awesome they are. And then last but not least, this Friday, the 22nd, your PWS will be unavailable. If you haven't seen that note at the top of your workstation when you've logged in, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., so 4 hours, the PWS is going to be unavailable. I assume they're doing maintenance, so don't be surprised. And if your customers message you, you can like, I couldn't order it 12 a.m. I don't know what to do. Just tell them to try again later.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate it. Thanks for bringing us all up to speed. Okay. Now I am really excited to introduce to you a friend of mine, Malorie Thompson. She is a superstar director, and she is going to share with us systems and how to organize your business. We're going to talk about those wonderful but necessary things. And when I turn it over, Malorie, tell us who you are. Give us a little bit of your Scentsy story, and the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey guys, thanks Melissa. Oh my God, it's an honor. It's seriously an honor to be here and to talk to you guys. I'm just really grateful to be able to pour my cup into y'all's tonight. So I really appreciate it. And if you caught that y'all, you'll realize that I'm from Kentucky. So I'm not from the sticks in Kentucky. I was born in the sticks, but don't live there now. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. So you'll hear other consultants from Louisville or from Kentucky. They don't sound like me because I'm from Louisville. So, but yeah, so like Melissa said, I'm a superstar director. I am 28 years old. I joined Scentsy 5 years ago. This is my 5th year. So I joined when I was 23 in 2017. And long story short, saw my first year the potential that Scentsy has, and didn't really do a lot my first year, but I kind of stood back in the shadows and watched. And then once that second year hit, I kind of hit the ground running, and didn't stop there because this girl was not meant for a regular 9 to 5. Just never was. Tried to go to college, failed miserably because I was 17. Like, guys, I was not meant to do the whole regular job, the whole 9 to 5, the whole you go to work every day and do this thing. Like, I knew that wasn't for me. And when Scentsy came along, I knew it was my opportunity to live the life that I wanted to live. So I hit the ground running after my first year. And in 2020, I became a superstar director, and I quit my day job. And I actually quit my day job when I was a star director because I knew superstar director was right around the corner. And I quit my job and just haven't looked back since. 12 weeks ago on Saturday, I had my first child, my first daughter with my husband. Thanks, Melissa. And yeah, we've been together for 10 years, but we waited 10 years to have kids because I really wanted to make sure he wanted to stay with me. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't going nowhere. So we had our first daughter, and I get to stay at home with her and live the life that I've literally just always wanted to live. And you know, if it wasn't for people like Melissa who showed up before me to show me that I could do this, like it wouldn't be possible. So it's just like really crazy to like be speaking for her team now, like comes in full circle. It's just like blows my mind. So I will not ponder on that any longer, but hi, my name is Mallorye. And yeah, that's a little bit of my story. And I'm just really grateful to be here. And if you ever get to know me more on a personal level, you'll know that like, I'm a very type A personality. I'm very like, type A, organized, like everything in my business has a system, and I've always done it like that. And it took me a while to realize that like I was doing it right. I thought I was just being type A OCD, but I realized over the course of a few years that like, oh, this is how everybody should probably be running their business. Some people are just a little bit more laid back with it. But when it comes to systems, I've learned that you can be laid back with your system, but you can't be laid back with how often you do your system. So you always have to do your system, but it doesn't matter how laid back it is or not. You just have to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Obsessive about your system. Doesn't matter what your system is, but you have to be obsessed about it. So I like to start off my trainings with like a broad, like, definition for a word. So like a business system. What is a business system? Before we get started, a business system is a defined set of principles, practices, and procedures that are applied to a specific activity to achieve a specific result. So systems are not a broad statement. There is systems for different things. So when people think of business systems, I think a lot of the times we think of, there's going to be one system I'll use for everything. Not necessarily the case. I think systems need to be broken down into smaller systems for smaller goals. Okay. So you're not going to have like one business system goal. Okay. So just remember that systems are designed specifically to get specific things done. Okay. And one thing I've really learned over the course of these last 5 years is that systems really do separate whether you're going to treat Scentsy like a hobby or a business. So if you want to treat Scentsy like a hobby, no worries. Like that is amazing. You have the best hobby ever. But systems are what's defined it not being a hobby anymore. So if you want to treat this more like a business and start like actually having a Scentsy business, you need systems in play. So that's what separates people from hobbyists and people who treat this like a business. Okay. And I knew going into this, if I wanted to make this my full-time job, I had to treat it like a business. So I had systems early on. And also systems ensure that things get done in a timely manner. If you're like me now, like I was when I was working a full-time job and I had, 30 minutes a day to work on my business, if that, an hour tops, if you don't have systems in place, you're not going to know where to start that day. You're going to be like, what do I need to do? I don't even know where to begin. I have 30 minutes. And if you're sitting there trying to figure out what you need to get done in that 30 minutes that you have to do your work, you're not going to get anything done. If you don't have systems in place ready to go for when you have time to work, you're going to be struggling to figure out what you need to get done, what you need to do, and how you need to do it. So you have to have systems lined up so that you can get things done in a timely manner. Because if you have limited time, it's not like people like me now that I can sit at my desk, all day, which if you're doing this full time and you're sitting at your desk all day, you're doing it wrong. But I can sit at my desk and know exactly what I need to do. But I have extra time to kind of mess with stuff because this is all I do. But like I said, back when I had an hour to do stuff a day, if I didn't have systems, I would be completely lost. Okay. So just remember, systems run a business and people run systems. So your system does run your business, but it's not going to do anything for you, like I said, unless you show up consistently and do that system. Okay. So systems in place are awesome. Good job. But they don't do anything if you don't fulfill those systems. Okay. Systems run your business, but people run the systems, right? Okay. So I just wanted to put that in there because like I said, I see a lot of people say, I don't really need systems, or I don't really use systems. It's not my thing. Like, I'm not organized like that. I like to run my business more freely and open. That's great. but you need systems in place. You need systems that work for you, okay? So just because someone's type A personality system doesn't work for your type B personality doesn't mean that you don't need a system, okay? So just realize that systems aren't for people who are good at systems or do systems. Systems are for everybody. It just depends on how you run your business and how you want to do those systems, because there's so many different ways that you can do a system. And that takes me kind of my next thing. When we're talking about systems and you see people and what they do and how they run their systems, you do not have to do exactly what everybody else does, okay? Just because one thing works for somebody does not mean it's going to work for you. I can tell you that a lot of my systems that I have, I didn't generate from, I guess you'd say, scratch. Like, I didn't generate those from scratch. A lot of my systems I've taken from other people and kind of edited them to make them my own, okay? So just know that every system I use has been edited to work for me. So you need to do the same thing for your systems. They're not going to look exactly like somebody else does them. Think about if you have a position at another job, okay? There are certain things that you do in a company that have to get done a certain way. But then if you watch one person work versus another person work, they're not going to do it the exact same way, right? They have the same position, they do the same job, and they have even the same like software programs or whatever on the computer, but you're going to notice that one person does it differently than another because that's how it works for them. So you have to take what you need to get done and figure out what works for you, okay? Now that I kind of like talked about like systems and just like a broad statement of systems, I want to get more into like the nitty gritty, because a lot of the times people are like, systems, okay, what the heck do I even need systems for? Like, what do I need systems for? You guys keep saying this, but like, what is a system? Why do I need it? I tell my new consultants the top 4 things that I have systems for, okay? Because if you really analyze your business, you're going to realize that like literally everything you do kind of has a system, but there is 4 things in my business personally that I cannot do without a system. And I don't see how you can run your business at all without systems for these 4 things. And I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll tell you kind of what I do for my system. But I want you guys to know that that's just what I do. And I'll tell you a few other things that I might have seen along the way, okay? So the main things that I have systems for, if you don't have systems for anything else in this business, you need systems for these 4 things. Follow-ups, that is the number one thing you need a system for. I don't care if it's pen and paper, you need a system for follow-up, okay? There is no ifs, ands, or buts around a system for follow-ups. If you try to run this business without a system for follow-ups, it's not gonna make it, okay? I tried to run this business without follow-ups for the first year, and it was like running around with chicken with my head cut off. I could barely get 2K in sales a month. Like, it was hard because there was no follow-up system. So you have to have a system where you're gonna follow up with your customers when they get their order, after they get their order, you know, before they get their order, whatever, however you do your follow-up system is how you do your follow-up system, but you have to have a follow-up system, okay? You have to have a system for thank you mail, thank yous, however you do thank yous. Does not matter how you do them. You can even send a text message for a thank you, but it has to be a system. You have to have a system for your thank yous, okay? If you're not thanking your customers and showing gratitude and giving back to them as much as you possibly can, they're not going to come back to you. You have to have a thank you system. Like I said, I went like 2 years without a thank you system in my business. And once I actually started thank yous and sending out thank yous, my business changed forever. It changed for good. Those customers became lifelong customers and friends, okay? You have to have a thank you follow-up system, okay? Host coaching and parties. You have to have systems for host coaching and parties. It does not matter how you do your parties. You have to have a system for them, okay? Like I said, I don't care if it's writing down a piece of paper. System, it's a system, okay? And you have to have a system for host coaching, okay? Because your parties aren't going to be successful without host coaching. And you can't really do a whole lot in this business if you're not having parties, okay? And then the last thing I like to say you need a system for is onboarding when you recruit somebody. So that is the 4 things. If you don't use systems for anything else, follow-ups, thank you mail, parties, host coaching, onboarding, because we all know the bread and butter to this business is buy, host, join, right? Okay, well, buying goes in follow-ups, thank you mail, host coaching party, that's all about buying. Host coaching party is about hosting. And then, you know, onboarding is joining, right? So we buy, host, join. If we don't have systems for buy, host, join, you need them, okay? if you've never used a system in the world, it's not too late. Okay. Like I said, I did this business for 2 years without really any systems, just kind of flying off the seat of my pants. Is that how you say that? Anyways, just going crazy all the time, not knowing really what exactly I'm doing next, just hustling for 2 years. When I finally got systems in place, I literally felt like I actually could breathe. I felt like I could breathe. And actually there is a quote. Hold on, let me look. I posted it in my leadership group, but it's pending because it's a scheduled post. It says, if you're too busy to build good systems, then you'll always be too busy. Let me repeat that again. If you're too busy to build good systems, then you'll always be too busy. Because systems, like I said, are what keep you in a timely manner, and systems make you organized. If you don't have systems, you're going to, like I said, sit down for that 30 minutes to work and be like, I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. I'm so overwhelmed. You need systems in place so you know where to begin. You know where you let off. You got to know what you're going to sit down and do that day. So let me tell you guys what I do for systems. Like I said, it's not the right answer. It's just what I do. And I'll give you all examples of more things too, besides just exactly what I do. For follow-ups right now, I use Amy, but we know that Amy is not going to be a thing forever anymore. So I use Amy for a long time. But right now, since Amy's not, since Amy's going to be not in the future, I've been looking into Trello. Trello is an app or a website. So you can go on Trello.com or you can go on Trello for an app. And I think I'm going to move my follow-up system into Trello. There's a few YouTube videos that I want to watch on some other Scentsy consultants that use Trello. And I kind of want to look into them because like I do, I make things my own. So I kind of I will watch a few people that do stuff on Trello, and I'll kind of tweak what they do and make it my own thing. Okay. But I've seen people do follow-up systems, pen and paper. I have a star director that does a follow-up system via pen and paper. And then she goes to her orders tab. Like every 2 weeks, she'll go to her orders tab and then she'll pen and paper it. Like she'll pen and paper each person on what she did last and what she needs to do next. There's people who do spreadsheets for follow-up systems. There's people who use binders. It's whatever works for you, okay? And don't assume because you're a pen and paper type of person that you're gonna love a pen and paper type follow-up, because I'm actually a pen and paper type of person. But when it comes like follow-ups, I kind of like it to be digital. So work with a few systems. And that's another thing that people don't do. They don't give systems enough time. They do a system for a week and they don't really like it that much, and they just stop trying on that system. I say, if you start a new system up, try it for at least a month and see if you like it or not. And if you absolutely hate it after that month, then try something else. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of getting used to something before you actually realize you like it. Or sometimes it takes starting a system up, and sometimes it might take me a month to tweak it to where it works for me. And then it finally works that next month because I spent the whole month like tweaking it, figuring out what works for me, changing things that don't work for me, adding things that do. And then when I try it that next month after I've tweaked it, it works. Okay. So give yourself some time to make sure it's going to work or not. Okay. I know some things you'll start and you'll know like as soon as you start them that you'll hate them, but try to give most things some time. Okay. So follow-ups, we're all still trying to figure out what we're going to do for follow-ups now that Amy's kind of leaving. But I used Amy for a while. Thank you mail. There's so many ways you can do thank you mail, you guys. And I will say that if this isn't your full-time job, don't do thank you mail. It's going to break your bank. Okay. Just do something. Okay. Like I said, you can send a text message for thank you if that's what you want to do, or an email. You don't have to send anything physical if you can't afford it. But if you are, I recommend that you send something that you can send with a stamp, unless you are, higher up and making more money, you need that tax write-off or whatever. Your girl is still sending stuff with stamps. I don't send stuff on like that costs like multiple dollars. I still send customers thank you mail with one stamp. Doesn't matter what they order. And how I do it is I keep up with thank you mail on a spreadsheet. So that's what I do. I do thank you mail weekly and I keep up with it on a spreadsheet. And that's how I keep up with thank you mail. That's my system. And on the spreadsheet, it's just their name when I sent it and what scent circle they got. Some people send everybody for that month the same scent circle. Some people don't send them different scents. That actually would be probably a lot easier. I should probably look into that. Some people, send thank you mail twice a month. Some people send thank you mail once a month. Some people send thank you mail once every 3 months. Some people like me send it once a week. Whatever system works for you, do it. Whatever you have time for, do it. You don't have to do a spreadsheet. Like I said, you can do thank you mail where you write it all down. You can do thank you mail where you do it on an app. It doesn't matter. You can take Trello and do thank you mail on Trello if you end up liking Trello. Whatever works for you, but you have to have a follow-up or a thank you system, okay? Thank you mail system will change your business. I'm telling you this right now, okay? Because how many times have you ordered from a direct sales company and didn't get a thank you text message or anything at all? Even a thank you card is never in my life, but a thank you text message, I would just be grateful to get a thank you text message. Still don't really get that when I order from direct sales companies. So just remember, thank you mail can change the game, okay? Now, when it comes to the systems for host coaching and parties, I'm not going to go into a lot of this because there is so much that you can do for host coaching and parties. This is kind of something that you're going to have to dig into, like YouTube and the training center, to figure out what works for you. Because again, you know, your upline and what they do, they're not your boss. They can't tell you what to do, and they're not going to sit here and tell you what you need to do. But I recommend that you get on the workstation, training center, YouTube, and figure out a host coaching system that works for you. You want to know what I was doing whenever online parties were a big thing this past year, and I was having like a lot of online parties? Do you know what my host coaching system was? A graphic I made with all what they need to do on it. And that was my host coaching system, but it was a system. And I knew that every host got that graphic, and that graphic said everything that they needed to know on it. And that if they didn't read that graphic, they didn't have a good party, but they only needed to read that graphic. That was a super simple system, and it was a system that worked for me. Okay. I've seen people do host coaching with a video, like a video that they've uploaded on YouTube or something that they send to their hosts for host coaching. I've seen host coaching done on FaceTime calls, text messages. It doesn't matter. I've seen people set up project broadcasts where they host coach, and it sends a text message, an automated text message to hosts. There's so many ways to host coach. You just got to host coach. Okay. And again, try something for a month or two, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, pivot. Okay. And your host coaching is going to change when your parties change. So if you change the way you do your parties, you're going to change the way you do your host coaching. Oh, just tweak it. And then system for parties, figure out a system that works for you. You know, home parties, I don't really have like that much of a system for home parties. Basically just host coach them and then make sure I don't forget anything and just arrive on time and, you know, have the party. But like online parties, when I was doing those a whole lot, like I had a system for those. I had a Trello board, and I had the days of the post set up on the Trello board, so I could just copy and paste it and schedule it, and all the pictures were good to go. I have the pictures. I have pictures in my phone, like in my albums. I have my albums separated into like warmers is an album, wax is an album, body lines an album, kids lines an album, so that when I went to go schedule posts, I could easily find those pictures because they were all separated into albums. And then I would just go to Trello and I'd copy the post and I'd schedule it. And I had my Trello board set up to like each day and what I post on each day. That's how I did my systems for online parties for a while. For a while, before I started Trello, my online parties, I wrote everything down. I wrote down what I was scheduling every day and when. And that worked for me for a while too. Pen and paper. It's just about having a system. Again, like I said, now I think one of my dogs is trying to get in here and my door just cracked open. Hello. So systems can be, like I said, electronic. They could be on paper, whatever works for you, but you have to have a system for parties and host coaching. Okay. Because there's so much you'll forget for host coaching if you don't have a system. And there's so much you'll forget for parties if you don't have a system, especially if you have multiple parties going on at once. How are we going to have multiple parties going on at once if we don't have a system in stone that we can use that's effective, right? And then for onboarding, when you get a new recruit, my system for onboarding is a checklist, and I keep a checklist, and it's and I can share, like, if anybody wants to see like a Trello board that I have or a checklist that I have or anything, I can share it with Melissa so she can share it with you guys. It's no big deal. But for onboarding, I have a checklist, and it breaks it down into week 1, week 2, week 3, or no, it's like first 24 hours, first 72 hours, first week, second week, third week, and then like second month. It goes all the way to the first 70 days because we know that we have to be there for our new recruits for at least the first 70 days to help them through that sensational start period, right? So that's what my checklist for onboarding is like a checklist for all the way to the first 70 days. And it goes over all the basics, and it just makes sure that I don't forget to go over something with a new recruit, because I will forget especially if I had that system when we just had that join special, a $25 join special, I had 4 people join that month and then 2 people join the next month. So, or this month, I can't remember my months, but I had 6 recruits in like a month and a half. If I don't have a system set up for those recruits, I'm going to be going everywhere. I'm going to be going crazy. I don't remember who I talked to about what. I don't remember who's on what page, who's done with their launch party, who's not, who's on their like first 2 weeks, who's on their, you know, I didn't have to run to the reporting tab and check everybody's 70th day because that system, I keep those 4 pieces, or I kept those pieces of paper, you know, for my new recruits in my binder, and I had it right there. And I could just open my binder and say, okay, here's my 4 recruits. This is where this girl's at. I need to text her about this. This is where this girl's at. I need to text her about this. If I didn't have that system in play, I would be all over the place. Okay. So just know that like you need systems set up to keep yourself organized so you can take on more of a load, so you can do more work, you can make more sales, you can get more recruits. Because if you don't have those things set up, you're not going to be able to take on more, and you're going to limit yourself. You really are going to limit yourself if you don't have systems set up. Like I said, I don't care if it's just a pen and paper. I don't care if it's notes in your phone, but it's still a system. It still works for you, you know, because a lot of us only have, like I said, an hour or less a day to work on our business. And we can't sit there for 15 minutes if we only have an hour saying, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Have to have that system in play to run an effective business. Like I said, I think systems get looked past a lot because not everybody uses them. Not everybody uses systems, but you will get burnt out if you don't use systems. You're going to get burnt out because, like I said, you're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And it's so easy to get burnt out if you don't know what to do next, or if you don't know what you want to do when you sit down to work. You know what I'm saying? You're going to overwhelm yourself. So just don't look past the importance of systems because they are so important. They really are. And like my growth as a consultant would not have happened as fast as it did without systems. It really wouldn't. That's why I was so stagnant my first 2 years. Well, a year and a half. That's why I was so stagnant, because I didn't treat this like a business. I treated it like a hobby, and I had no systems in play. But then once I realized, like, I want to treat this more like a business and start actually like seeing results out of this, I started putting systems into play and everything changed. And no, do I have the same systems that I used 4 years ago? Not at all. Everything's different, but they're systems. And I've always had systems in play. Even if they change and evolve, they're still there, right? So don't be afraid to change and evolve your systems either, because if you don't like it, you can always go back to what you were doing. At least you know that was working at that point, you know? And like I said, just remember, your system's not going to work for everybody else. So remember to take systems and make them your own, okay? Like I have a checklist. If you guys know who Rachel Anderson is, Ray, she had a system that she posted that was like a checklist for the entire month. And I went in and changed every single like thing that she had on her checklist, but I liked the layout of the checklist, right? Like I loved the layout, but nothing that she did for her business was really what I did for mine. So I changed it to work for me. And I still use that checklist. And I've been using it for a few months, and it really keeps me on track. So just remember, you don't have to come up with them from scratch. There's people out there that will come up with them, but you got to make them work for you, okay? And don't think that there's anything wrong with you if it doesn't work for you, but it works for somebody else. It's just, you're just personalizing it to work for your business, okay? And I haven't been looking at the chat, so if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask me. But I hope this helps. I don't really have any much more to say, but that systems are dang important, and you better start them if you haven't started them yet. And don't be afraid to jump into them. I don't care if you're doing this for 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 3 months, and you don't have systems starting out. Okay, it's not too late. Not too late.
I am checking the chat. Question if you would share the graphic for your host coaching, the one that you at least used to use.
Yes.
Let's be honest. We just want them all. We just want them
Want it all. Can I share
Yeah.
pictures in the chat though?
We don't want this to be a hobby thing. We want this to be a full-blown, own it right out of the get-go. Get it knocked out of the ballpark. And this is my first meeting, and I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my God, hi.
This is so awesome. I love it.
Really
yes.
quick, I'll I'll take that graphic and I'll move it over to my Google Drive so I can share it with you guys. Hold on one second.
And you can, you can do that, or you can send it to me and I can post it with the recording.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No big deal. Or if you want to post the link in the chat and then I'll snag it from there and get,
Sure.
that would be awesome. Anybody have anything, any questions or anything that you want to ask specifically maybe, or we've got a couple minutes left. Let me remove.
So
I know I talk fast, guys. Sorry.
when you guys do happy mail, so is happy mail the same thing as thank you mail? Because sometimes I get confused. Or is it different? Like
It's- Mallory, you want to take it or you want me to take it?
I'll go first if you want to. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm kind of like doing something on my phone. But I actually don't send out mail unless they order something. If I'm gonna send something like an advertising like kind of thing, like people you'll hear people say they send snail mail for like advertising. I honestly don't send out snail mail or anything like that. I don't send out anything, like I said, unless they've ordered from me. If I'm going to do like a advertising kind of snail mail thing, it's going to be on email most likely, because I think that people don't see email as much as like a ad. I think they just see an email as like a reminder. I mean, think about how many emails you get a day from like different companies that you shop from. So I don't send snail mail. Like I said, I just send thank you mail. And then any kind of like advertising is going to be done on email.
Amy, I kind of roll them into one, and I do it for people that order, and it's everybody who's ordered within the last 3 months from me. So it goes out every month and I look back to the past 3 months. And so it's kind of like, I call it happy mail, but it's also thank you mail because it has a thank you in there, but it's also like the next brochure, like what's going on that month. So I just kind of roll it all into one to make it easier on me. And I'm still only using one stamp. So
okay.
do whatever works best for you. Like Melanie was saying, like Mallory, I'm sorry.
I think we use thank you mail and happy mail kind of interchangeably. I mean, when I send you guys mail, team mail, I call that happy mail. And when I send my customers their thank you pack, I call that customer happy mail. So it's kind of just interchangeable, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Aim. Anybody else? Anything for Mallory before she leaves us?
My daughter is being awfully quiet. Maybe she's asleep. Okay, I put the
when they're
post coaching.
quiet, you're gonna have to run in that other room and check.
Well, she can't walk yet, so it's good to know that.
All right. So she dropped the link in the chat.
Yes, and then I'll put the I'll send you in a text message if anybody wants it, my new recruit like checklist.
You know that whatever you offer, everybody's going to say yes, yes, yes.
Let's hope so.
We want to see. So that being said, you can share whatever it is that you want to share.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure. Teamy checklist. And then you guys might see stuff on this checklist that you're like, what is that? You can always just message me and be like, what is that? Like you'll see add to F2FC shout out. That's our like group page on Facebook. So let's see. And then here is and actually I think this is originally Chloe Cox's and I kind of edit it. So it's like, I take what people do, it works for them, and I kind of see if it's gonna work for me. Like that host coaching graphic, one of my star directors made it. And I was like, let me see if that works for me. And it worked for me, you know what I'm saying? So, and the checklist was Chloe Cox's and it worked for her. So I was like, let me try it, and it worked for me. So just know it's different for everybody, guys, okay? Some people might not like it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, so appreciate it. And thank you for sharing. Oh, it says that we need access.
I'll fix it.
Mallory, okay, yeah, you'll fix that. Awesome. Andrea, did we want to do a drawing for tonight?
We
Awesome.
sure do.
Okay.
Okay, so, whoops, sorry, hold on. Hey, here we go. Jackie McManus.
Yay.
Okay, and I did get all of my other ones, so
Thank
hopefully
you.
everybody got it out, or hopefully everybody got their prizes, because I did get them out last what, a couple weeks ago, so, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrea, for doing the drawing. And Mallory, we good?
Yeah, thank you so much again. I appreciate you asking me. It's been an honor to come talk to you guys tonight. Seriously.
Well, we were honored to have you. It was truly our pleasure. So thank you.
Of course, guys. Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the week. Thanks for popping on, and we'll talk to you soon.